provincial government to say, well, this is what's going on in Chetwynd, this is what's going on in Quesnel. You know, you could really do something better with your programs in Prince Rupert. Your programs are too hard to access, they don't really meet the needs. Anyway, the visit to communities went great. Changing the programs, not so great, but did my best. I've seen the good and the bad and the ugly of community planning processes, and I think the good is when you have a place where there's a local government and people committed to the good of the community, like we're doing here tonight. Thank you all. The good is even better when the participation of people is to help develop an official community plan for the future for a long period of time, and not just a one-off development. I think the not so good is when a development would derail the OCP process to chase after the golden ring and put us in the big leagues. And too often I've heard people saying, if only we had a Tim's, boy, then we'd really have made it. If we had a Canadian Tire, we'd be in the big leagues. That's not the answer. This race to the bottom, we forget about economic development is part business attraction and part business retention, what you've already got. Will the new businesses push out the existing ones that offer more benefits to Kimberley? A closed-up car wash is not good. A closed-up service station sits idly behind chain link fence for decades. We could lose some of our unique restaurants. I don't think we should be concerned that no other developer will come along with a better idea. We've got a growing population, a robust economy, and I think a bright future. Time is up.
And I think
we should listen to the staff. I think we should.
Thank you, Brandon.
I think I should quit.
I think 3 minutes. I had to throw out a bunch of what I was going to talk about tonight, so
go ahead,
I'm
Sydney.
going to go ahead, and I've heard the button. So Kimberley was recently voted.
Marianne, the other mic.
Sorry? Can you start that again, please, Scott?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Sydney.
Kimberley was recently voted best small town in BC, and we know that. And it comes with prestige, and it comes with responsibility. This responsibility falls on the shoulders of everyone, from our residential community, our businesses, our elected officials, and city staff. Our community culture and landscape are a large part of Kimberley's attraction. I and my husband are concerned citizens, retired, and helping my daughter and son with their 3 young children. All of us call Kimberley home now. So now this issue falls on my shoulders too. So I wrote some stuff about the community plan and how much energy it takes, how the community came together, they talked about everything. They went through all this stuff. They came up with an agreement, it's called the OCP. So I'm not gonna go into that page because I won't make my 3 minutes. But I think we need to keep our current and future planners, councils and mayors on notice of our community's desired directions, to have industrial lands active with good paying employment and forward thinking on future planning to keep up with our changing planet. It's vital. Also, when many people think of industrial, and this is being spoken of, is as the ugliest vision arises. Somebody said to me the other day, oh, we're gonna have Lafarge and the concrete people can move right in there. But I don't think that that's the way it has to be. It doesn't have to be that way. This is our south entry of Kimberley is being our opening statement to visitors and locals alike. And we could look at beautifying any incoming proposals. This will take vision and bylaw changes and start to lean to a beautiful vision of Kimberley for the future of our children, grandchildren, and beyond. And we need to look beyond those that are just living here now. I wanted to just talk a little bit more about that since I threw out a few pages of my talk about the OCP. And there are many cities that have industrial parks that are quite lovely. We need to protect the road coming into Kimberley. We may need, Dawn, you said this to Brandon and I recently, we may need another stoplight at some point. But a stoplight at that point, which you said might do the trick, is not where we would need it. We need to think about our fire exits, our emergencies in, our emergencies out. We need to think about our commuters on a daily basis. And I think that we need to have you guys help us do that. It's, I want to give kudos to the planning department, which I had to throw out that page, and talk about what you did recommend, and I think that they were good recommendations, and we should be listening to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sydney. Andrea Chapman? Go ahead, Marianne.
My name is Marianne Rattray, and thank you for the opportunity to address this issue. It seems we are putting the cart before the horse. I can't see a proposed McDonald's and another car wash and garage having a positive impact on people's lives in our community, especially when the province is urging people to conserve water. The other factor is infrastructure. We are currently in the process of upgrading municipal services like water and sewer. Our demographics points to an urgent need for affordable rentals and housing. Without this, there is no business or community sustainability. Let's support the businesses we have and enjoy our community.
Thank you, Marianne. Darlene Lavoie. Go ahead, Andrea.
Hi, my name is Andrea Chapman. I am a resident of Kimberley at 470 7th Avenue and the branch manager for Wild Site Kimberley Cranbrook at 97 Wallinger Avenue in Kimberley. I speak today on behalf of Wild Site Kimberley Cranbrook. Thank you for the opportunity. Wild Site Kimberley Cranbrook supports development that enhances our community by providing a healthy, livable environment for life. This proposal is not that. Future-proofing alludes to the long-term, forward-thinking, including a safe, livable climate and community. It is something Kimberley has done a few times already. We have to diversify to position ourselves to be resilient to shocks and changes as we face inflation, labor shortages, lack of affordable housing, lack of childcare, challenges in mental health and addictions, and climate change. People cannot live on minimum wage service sector jobs, especially when they are struggling to feed and house themselves. This proposal simply replicates the service industry jobs that are getting more difficult to fill due to the lack of affordable housing driven up by the cost of living in our community. It will bring no new spending to the community or region. It simply dilutes and diverts from the existing overserved market. Industrial uncontaminated land is rare in Kimberley. Left as industrial land, it can provide opportunities that attract economic development that supports a resilient and secure future, bringing in new spending as a byproduct. Strengthening food systems is a critical element to increasing community resilience, and one our organization would strongly recommend for this industrial land. Climate change and extreme weather events are affecting or destroying crops and their global delivery, which exacerbates food insecurity. Year-round hydroponic farming is sprouting up across North America, providing nutritious, reliable food, and would support regional food needs with very low water use. When investors see our city creating a more livable, secure community, it will become more attractive to desirable investment, not less. On behalf of Wild Site Kimberley Cranbrook, we are opposed to amending the OCP. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Glenna McClendon. Go ahead, Darlene.
Hi. When I initially signed up with the form, I thought we'd be able to ask questions as well, but I was informed that we can't. So in that note, the comments I have are that a lot more intelligent people than myself have spoken and brought up really good points. My comment to them, their points, would be that I hope that you're going to follow through on them. And from my point of view, I really feel like there hasn't been enough knowledge, information, data to back up what you're proposing to vote on and approve. I understand that all you as council can do is you're not saying what kind of business can go in there or can't go in there. All you're deciding on is the zoning. And I think a big portion of the community doesn't quite understand that. And I think that information needs to be put out there in a form that the general population can understand exactly what's being dealt with. Everybody here that has spoken that have degrees and educations in different backgrounds, I hope that has been enlightening to you for something to follow through on. As far as the type of business it is, and first it was 70 jobs, now it's 80 jobs. Are they full-time jobs? Are they part-time jobs? How are you going to fill those jobs? None of that has been put out into the community. And my big thing is, I'd like to know what Highways has said about this and what their proposal would be if this did come to pass. What is that going to look like with the school, the crosswalks? They're talking about another light. Oh, great, then we're going to have an immediate left, and then there's an immediate right with the golf course being right there through all the summer months. As somebody previously said, that creates a lot of congestion and a lot of backed up traffic going in both directions. So before I come to a full decision on this, I'd like to know what the answer to a lot of these points have been made before you as council make any final decisions on it. That would be what I have to say, as soon as I can't ask
Awesome.
questions.
Thank you, Darlene. Joanne Eckersley. Go ahead, Glenna.
Is that okay? Hello? Hi, my name is Glenna. Thanks for letting me go a bit earlier because I have my kids. Super appreciate that. We live in Blarchmont, and my partner and I have 2 kids. We're planning on opening up an ice cream and healthy snack shop in the Plateau this summer. I just wanted to talk about, just the idea of zoning. So I want to take a moment and consider how zoning is really a part of the DNA of a community and its relevance to public health. It can be used as a tool to promote public and community health and well-being. It can be used to limit the proliferation of developments that can be harmful to the health of individuals and the community as a whole. And I think so many gifted writers, and speakers tonight have really laid out for you how hugely detrimental this proposed rezoning and development would be on the individual and collective health and well-being of Kimberley residents. Everyone that I've talked to in this community, they're not against development. We want new development. We want it to be positive growth that's in harmony with our local aspirations and values. A fast food drive-through, another gas station, for what legitimate reason? It's not a silver bullet economic solution. It's not realistically a quote-unquote budget-friendly family food option. How are these apparently 80 likely minimum wage jobs being filled? What gaps in service would it really be addressing that we can't find another solution for? And are these apparent gaps in service actually even gaps? I don't know. All development is not created equal. Some development projects will make a community a better place to live, to work, and to visit. Other developments will not. And the biggest impediment to better development in many communities is simply coming to say no to bad ideas. So in my experience, when we don't say no to bad ideas, that's when low standards are set, and it's just a slippery slope. I believe that Kimberley has high standards, and that we understand that we can say no to bad development proposals because there's going to be better ideas. There's going to be better development proposals. I'd like to implore you to say no to this proposal so that you can say yes to a better one. So that's why I've come out tonight at the witching hour with my kids. Woo! Because we need to say no, right? Yeah. So I say no to the rezoning, no to the McDonald's drive-through gas station combo model, whatever it is. I want more for this community. I want better. I want development that I can unequivocally say yes to and support, and I hope some of you feel the same way. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenna. Joanne.
Mr. Mayor, it is my turn to speak. I just wanted to let you know that my concerns have been aired by previous speakers. Remain seated.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Joanne. Jeannie McDonald. Yeah. And Eugene Miserek.
My name's Jeannie McDonald. I've lived in Kimberley for almost 30 years. A lot of what I was going to say has already been said and been said very well by other people, so I'll say some other stuff. One thing I wanted to clarify, a speaker quite a bit earlier was talking about the less than attractive entrance to Marysville and the, quote, garbage scow at the front there. I looked at the proposal for rezoning. That's not going to change. It's not part of the rezoning. So that's still going to be there. And it would be nice if they did a, Carrigan or something. So anyway, has been pointed out, there is not enough uncontaminated industrial land in Kimberley. It would be a huge mistake to get rid of any of the land that we have. I've heard talk of diversifying the economy, which is a great idea. But last I looked, we had gas stations. I've never had to line up for gas. I've never had to line up for a car wash. We have lots of restaurants. And the restaurants that we have in Kimberley now buy a lot of their raw ingredients at Safeway and AG Foods. They don't have a great big multinational truck pulling up once a week to give them their groceries. I'm really concerned with the idea of us turning into another strip. Kimberley's been called the best small town in BC, and I think it is. I don't want to live anywhere else. I've heard Cranbrook called one of the ugliest cities in Canada, which is maybe not fair, but one of the reasons is the strip. And I think that if we allow this kind of development, we're going to end up with another strip.
Thank you, Jeannie. Corey Bearclough.
My name's Eugene.
Go ahead, Eugene.
My name's Eugene Macernik. I live in Kimberley. So I'm against this rezoning of industrial to commercial, like everybody else has said, because there's not that much left. So, and I think if the mayor and some of the council members respected the official planning commission for Kimberley, we would not be having this meeting tonight. But apparently some have bigger plans for Kimberley. I've lived here for over 20 years and I just love the place. Why do we need another gas station? We have 5 now. Cranbrook has 8 for its size and is located on a busy number 3 highway. Another car wash, we have 2 now in Marysville. And more fast food? No. But what bothers me the most is how this development will hurt the existing businesses that have put their money, their time into making a go of it. Owning a business is not an 8-to-5 job. The job does not end when you lock the door at the end of the day. It has been a difficult time for the last couple of years for all the businesses, and most of them have survived. Now we have a multinational company wanting to come in and take their slice of business from the locals. Why the mayor and some of these council, not all of them, can support this is beyond me. The last thing is I don't understand how this Calgary developer would pay maybe $1 million or $2 million for this piece of land that he could not build on unless the city rezoned it. Was any individual at City Hall administration, the mayor or councilors, approached by him and given advice that this property could be rezoned? I feel the only plus to this development being built is the Crows will have a new landing spot in Marysville. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. Mark Raymond. Go ahead, Corey.
My name is Corey Barraclaw. I was born and raised in Kimberley, as were my parents. And I think there's sometimes a perception that those of us who've been here for a long time don't want change. I'm looking at Councillor McBain, also born and raised in Townsite, near me. But I don't think that's true. Usually when I come to events like this, I'm on the other side of the table. I work extensively for developers, mostly in larger centers, and I know how the game is played, and development is a game. It's not without risk. Developers put their money up, and they hope to get a return. And it's the business community that drives our economy. But there's a side of our business economy that I don't think has been mentioned yet. Jeannie alluded to it a few minutes ago. She said that the restaurants in Kimberley buy a lot of their product at AG and local grocery stores. And that's absolutely true. But they also buy a lot from our local farmers and ranchers. And that's the perspective that I'd like to bring tonight. My family has ranched in the valley for almost 80 years. We have a ranch at Skookumchuck. And we sell to the local restaurants, like The Shed, Pedal and Tap, and I know that and also to Stoke Markets and to Sprout Grocery. And I know that there are many, many other small agricultural businesses in our valley that also sell to very similar, tight-knit, very direct to the from farm to table, essentially, models. And that's what keeps us alive. That's why we're still in business. If we simply took our animals and sold them at market at going price at any given year, we'd have been out of business a long time ago. It's those direct to the table sales, local beef, local vegetables, local fruits that keep your agricultural community alive. They're the ones that smooth out the peaks and the valleys. So when you're considering rezoning industrial land, it's not just about the town of Kimberley. It's about the valley that supports you, it's about your neighbors, and it's about your local farmers. And I'd like you to consider that when you make your decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Ryan Tarvis. Go ahead, Mark.
My name is Mark Raymond. I'd give you my home address, but I don't remember it because I spend all my time at my two businesses.
18 Sunrise Crescent.
Okay. Thanks, Don. Have you been by lately? Because I don't think my lawn has been mown. I've lived in Kimberley since 2005. I've been in business here since 2014. And I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I am very in favor of growth and development. I get excited if a neighbor of mine repaints their house. Any kind of improvement in Kimberley excites me. I think the mayor's done a great job over the years of trying to attract business, of making great improvements to our town, and I think that's all positive. My concern is about this particular rezoning and the fact that I think it's really, and I think this has been alluded to, it's really the tip of the iceberg. We're talking about a particular development right now that is 100 meters. If you look at the whole strip up to the scrap metal yard, we're talking about 600 meters. I think it's inevitable once we change the OCP and we allow for the rezoning, rezone this first piece, the owners of the other land are going to be highly motivated to try and rezone, and we could end up with a very large new commercial district in Kimberley. As a matter of fact, I did some measurements, and if you take the whole piece, the depth of this rezoning proposal, and you go across the whole frontage, you've got 60,000 square meters of new commercial district. To put that in perspective, the existing Platzall, I'm talking about street to street, parking lot, post office, and everything, is 40,000 square meters. So we're considering a new commercial district in Kimberley that is 50% bigger than our existing downtown. That is very, very significant. What I have been advocating, and by the way, I am actually still open-minded on this. What I have been advocating is that we need to do an economic impact study. We need to really understand what happens when you build a new commercial district or allow for a commercial district that is that large. To the mayor's point, we can't pick and choose the businesses that go in there, but we can probably, with the help of professionals, anticipate what businesses might be there, and will this create incremental growth? You talk about 80 jobs. I think 80 jobs, if they were fully incremental, I'd probably be in support of that. Have you considered how many jobs they're going to displace? This is what we need to know. We need to know what the bottom line net impact is, because it's got to contribute to the growth of Kimberley, improve our tax base, bring jobs, bring incremental revenue into the city. Thank you.